So, who am I? Why am I here? My name is Adriana Miller, and this story I'm going to start way, way back to me and my kids, just to explain kind of the type of person that I am. I have majority custody of my kids and majority decision making. That was not a decision that was made without my ex's help. We both went in, we both signed an agreement together. We actually went together. We had it notarized together, we signed it together, we filed it together. We went into the hearing, we agreed to everything together. There was no fighting, there was no arguing about custody. It was determined that I was the better person at doing the school and the extracurriculars and all the things during the week, and he was going to do every other weekend. And it's worked. My kids thoroughly enjoy it. They are very expecting of the schedule. They've been on a pretty strict schedule no matter what changes have happened in our lives. So that was not ever like a contentious problem. It was never something where we fought about it. There was never any issues of them being withheld from their father or anything in that nature. It was specifically that after some serious events happened in my ex's life, which that's his own burden to bear, not for me to discuss, but after he made some seriously bad decisions, the best decision for our kids was for them to be on a strict schedule with me, because I was able to keep them steady and stable with my support system. My ex made some serious mistakes, some serious stuff that's going to be on his record for a long time, well, the rest of his life. But I am such a understanding and forgiving person that I know that people can change, and I know that not everything is always true, and I was very respectful about him and his parenting, even when he went through these legal troubles, just because my kids deserve their parents, and they deserve their dad, and as long as he wasn't a danger to them, then it didn't matter. I don't care what he did. As long as he didn't hurt my kids, he got to see them. That was always my rule. I promised him from day one that if we ever split up, he would never lose his kids. I would never take them away from him, and I've held up that end of the deal, except for a short period of time when we first split up. But that was a court order. There was a court order for no contact for 4 months, and that was something that the judge put in place. I didn't put in place, and we got through that part. We forgave each other. Do we have a good relationship now? I would like to. I would love to co-parent and be able to go to games and be able to communicate like we used to. However, as I've stated in my previous videos, he is married again, and my children's stepmother is not exactly the nicest person in the world. And she's changed my ex-husband for the worst. He's definitely not a good person to me anymore. Not really a good person at all when it comes to communication or doing anything. And he's gotten very selfish with a lot of things. So, we're handling that day by day. But I'm still doing my best to co-parent. I still, involve him in everything that I can. But I'm kind of stuck doing everything by myself. I pay for my kids. I take my kids where they need to be. I do everything. And everybody says, well, you signed up for that. And it's like, no, we agreed together that this was going to be a together thing, that we were going to raise these kids together. And unfortunately now it's just that they go to their dads every other weekend, and that's all. There's no help during the week. There's no extra payments. There's no helping with extracurriculars. There's a lot of arguing on if, the kids are going to make it to their extracurriculars on the weekends that they're with him. And, that's his prerogative, and that's his life, and that's what he wants to do. I'm not going to ever diss him for that. That's something that the kids can figure out on their own. We just do our thing. I'm just that mom that's going to pull it all together and do it anyways. So, That's a little backstory on me and my relationship with co-parenting, and how it's always been about the kids, and how, as much as it sucks to not see them sometimes, it's good for them to see their dad. And as much as, I'd love to have them 24/7, they need to have that relationship, and I push that relationship. There's been many times where they don't want to go, and it doesn't matter. That's what the court order says. That's what everybody thinks is in your best interest. You are not old enough to make a decision. You need to go. So when I come on here and I talk about other people's co-parenting relationships, I come from a good place. I come from a place of someone who wants to work together, that did work together with her ex. I don't come together as some bitter baby mama that, hates her ex and tries to take her kids away. So I hope going forward throughout this story, you can hear a little bit of my background. And I'll go into the dirty stuff, We got divorced and I got remarried, and it was not a good situation. And I'll talk about that in the next part, because that one deserves its own video. But I thought talking this morning about my relationship with co-parenting, my relationship with my ex-husband, my kid's father, and, how I am as a mom, and how I treat co-parenting as a non-negotiable. You have to be able to communicate and talk about your kids, and you have to be able to share your kids, because you chose to make them together. This was not a separate decision. This is something we chose to do as a couple, and we're stuck together for the rest of our lives, regardless if we like it or not. So moving forward, hopefully you can see where I'm coming from, and I really am thankful for everybody who's followed me in the past couple days, and hopefully we can get through this whole story together as peaceful and as happy as possible, so that way you can know who I am and why I'm here. Have a great day. I'm going to go take a nap.